Today, we're going to unravel some incredible stories, but not stories told with words, stories told with fabric. We're diving into the clothing culture of mainland Southeast Asia, where, believe it or not, every single thread can tell you about a person's history, their identity, and their community. So, yeah, let's get into these woven stories. Just look at this portrait for a second. Seriously. Before she says a single word, her clothes are already talking. The patterns, the layers, that amazing fabric, it's a whole language all on its own. And that's our starting point today, this idea that what you wear is so much more than just, well, clothes. It's your story. So let me ask you this. What if the clothes you put on this morning could tell people your family history, your social status, or exactly where you came from? Well, in many parts of the world, and especially where we're headed today, that's exactly what they do. So where are we talking about? We're focusing on this incredible region, mainland Southeast Asia. For literally centuries, this place has been a massive crossroads for trade, people, and ideas. It's a true cultural melting pot, and you can see that entire dynamic history woven right into the fabrics we're about to look at. And to really get what's going on with the clothing, you gotta have a little context. The story of this place has been shaped by some really powerful outside forces. You've got the ancient foundations built on rice and bronze. Then comes this huge spiritual influence from India. After that, China brings in new technologies, like the treadle loom, a total game changer. And finally, you have European colonial powers arriving and shaking up trade and culture. All of these are layers in the story. All right, our first stop is Burma, or Myanmar. And this place is fascinating because you see this constant dance between a national garment that everyone wears and these incredibly unique styles that belong to specific ethnic groups. Now check this out. What's so amazing here is the continuity. On the left, that's a carving from the 1600s. On the right, a market from today. And look, the basic garment, that wraparound skirt, is still central to life centuries later. That's staying power. And that garment is called the longi. It's pretty simple, really, just a tube of cloth. Both men and women wear it. It's kind of the great unifier, a piece of national dress you see everywhere. But of course, the specific patterns, the fabrics, that's where you can still signal who you are and where you're from. But the story doesn't stop with the longi. Burma has so many different ethnic groups, and this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this jacket from the Karen people. Okay, so we've gone from the big national garment to something that expresses a very specific, unique identity. And get ready for this, because this just shows the incredible artistry. At first glance, you'd probably think those are beads, right? But look closer. Those aren't beads, they're seeds. Each one painstakingly stitched into the fabric to create these amazing patterns. It's this beautiful connection to the natural world. Okay, so this idea of clothing telling a story gets even more detailed in our next stop, Laos. Because here, a single skirt can literally act as a biography, telling a woman's entire life story in 3 parts. I mean, listen to this quote from the source material. The colors and patterns on their tripartite skirts reflect age, marital status, and social position. It's not just a skirt, it's a woven resume, a biography in thread. So how on earth does that work? Well, the skirt is made in 3 distinct parts. You've got the head, which is the waistband. It's often hidden, but it connects the woman to her family line. Then there's the body, the big central part where the patterns can be just about anything. And finally, the foot, the hem. This part is usually super decorated and tells you where she's from and what her status is. Just think about that for a second. Head, body, and foot. Family, individual creativity, and community. All in a single piece of clothing that's worn every day. It's a whole story. So let's keep going. We're on to Cambodia and Vietnam now. And here, the symbolic power of clothing gets even more intense. We're talking about garments tied to huge celebrations, sure, but also to survival, struggle, and political identity. And this is a powerful example. It's wild how a simple piece of cloth can become such a loaded political symbol. On the left, you have the red and white checked krama, which became the uniform of the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. On the right, the black and white scarf of the Viet Cong in Vietnam. In both cases, a traditional everyday item was transformed into a symbol of a movement. But, beyond all that, everyday life goes on. And in Cambodia, a really key garment is the Sampot Chung Kuvun. It's not a skirt or pants, it's just one big rectangular piece of cloth that's wrapped, passed between the legs, and tucked in a really clever way. And the genius of it is how versatile it is. And you can see that versatility right here. On the left, you've got these beautiful, elaborate silk sampos for a formal ceremony. And on the right, a team of boat rowers wearing the exact same style of garment, just probably made from a tougher cotton, for a super physical activity. The same design works for both sacred moments and hard work. Now, in Vietnam, you see something similar to what we saw in Burma. You've got this one globally famous national symbol, the Ao Dai, that gorgeous flowing tunic. But then you also have this incredible diversity of other ethnic styles, like the super intricate pleated and embroidered skirts of the Flower Hmong people, which tell a totally different story. And here's that iconic Ao Dai. It's often worn in this pure white by students, and it's really become a modern symbol of Vietnamese elegance, purity, and just national pride. It's recognized all over the world. So, what happens to all these traditions now, in the 21st century? Are they just things you see in a museum? Absolutely not. This is not about the past. This is a living, breathing story where tradition is constantly meeting the modern world. And this photo from 2004 just captures it perfectly. You have this young woman in Laos. She's proudly wearing her traditional tripartite skirt, the one that tells her whole story. But she's paired it with a modern Western-style shirt and jacket. And see, this isn't a contradiction. This is a conversation between the past and the present. It's how culture stays alive. And that's really the big takeaway here. These traditions are not fading away. They're adapting. They're evolving. They are literally being rewoven into the fabric of modern life. And they're just as relevant today as they were hundreds of years ago. Which, of course, brings it all back to you. The textiles of Southeast Asia show us that clothing can be this incredibly deep form of expression. And it makes you wonder, right? As you get dressed every day, what story will your clothes tell tomorrow?